Hey everybody, it is Carrie and Katerina. And if you've been following us for a while, you know that back in July, we were up in Oregon doing a 9-day trip. And on the second day, we had a catastrophic failure of the suspension on our trailer. Well, today is October 1st, and it's finally in the shop getting fixed. We got all the parts going, but we have some trips that we want to do, and we're leaving in 2 days and the trailer's not going to be ready. At the same time, there's times where we just can't take the trailer. I mean, we plan on doing the Rubicon Trail. We can't take the trailer through there. As much as Tribe Trailer would probably like it if I tried, I'm not going to. And there's other trips that it just doesn't make sense. Well, we had a tent. In fact, we had 2 tents available to us. We took one out to Lake Pomeroy, and about 12,000 feet at night, when there's typically like frozen rain coming down, we had no rain fly on it. We didn't know where it was, totally lost. We got home, we threw that one away, we pulled out our other tent, and I took that one to Jay, Oklahoma, and it's just too small for us. So, time to buy a new tent. And we looked around, and one of the things that really intrigued us was this inflatable rooftop tent from 4x4 Colorado. You turn it on, and a couple minutes, boom, the whole thing is up and ready. It's nice and solid, but that's a rooftop tent. We need a ground tent. So Katerina asked, like, are there any inflatable ground tents? I'm like, well, I remembered that Dometic showed one at Overland Expo a year ago. So we looked that one up, and it looked really, really cool. It's not available in the US. Okay, so we keep looking, and we find the Zempire Pronto 4. We go to order it. It's not available in the US, but the Zempire Aerospeed 4 is available locally at REI. So we go over there, we pick it up, we bring it home, we set it up, and we just weren't happy with it. There was a few negatives about it. It was kind of like a step down from the Pronto 4 that we really wanted. So what did Katerina do? She ordered it from New Zealand. And a few days later, here it is. This is the Pronto 4 from Zempire. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and show it to you. We're gonna do a review of it. We're gonna use it. Just understand, if you really like this, it's gonna be a little difficult for you to order because you gotta order it from overseas. But maybe if there's enough demand, maybe REI will start carrying it because it is super cool. So I'm gonna go ahead, get things out, and I'll show you how easy it is to set up, assuming I can figure it out myself, because this is the first time it's out of the box. So here we have the Zempire Pronto 4. This is its carrying bag. Really nice construction on here. Nice and sturdy, and there's a lot of extra room in this bag, because I fully expect that when we go to try and put this thing back in here, there's gonna be a little air in it and stuff. It's not gonna go back in the bag as easily as it's in here now. So it's nice that this bag has a lot of extra room. It also has these straps on it, so you can really snug it down and get the last of the air out. So I'm just gonna open these up, make sure we have plenty of room to work with. Now, I have not rehearsed this. This is the first time I'm pulling this thing out, so you're going to see it for the first time with me. I hope it's not too boring. Okay, instructions. Probably don't need those. Actually, we probably will, but again, we've got straps on the tent itself. Really nice. That's gonna make storing this thing a whole lot better. Now, I'm sure the first thing I'm gonna have to do is probably figure out where the front is. Not quite sure how that's gonna go out, but let's see what's all inside of here. This is the pump. This looks like a nice, probably a 2-stage pump, because the interesting thing about this tent is it's an inflatable. There are no poles. There's nothing to set up. There is one exception, and that's for an awning. There's 2 little poles to stand up so we can extend the awning out. But to set the tent up itself, there's no poles. That's one of the things we really liked about it. So the Pronto 4 comes with a very nice, okay, it's a single stage pump, but looks like it'll put out a lot of air. And it has a pressure gauge on the top so we don't overfill it. Okay, we got the poles for the awning there. Let's see, a little bag here. We got some tent stakes, nice metal ones. We got some guy wires for the awning. Okay, that's pretty good. And we'll see if there's anything else to explore in here. All right. Now, like I said, the main thing is going to be trying to figure out where the front is. I'm guessing this is the front. Well, I think I have it aligned with the front facing the camera there. So I'm just going to go around. I'm going to stake the corners down so it doesn't move as we get things up and running here. It's got some little D-rings in the corners for the stakes. Now this is billed as a 4-person tent, which anyone familiar with tent sizing knows is probably good for 2.5 or 2 and a dog. So that's what we're going for. Now I am going to check the manual to see what the PSI is supposed to be on this. They all seem to be a little bit different. And this one says, so according to the manual, we're going to get it to 4 PSI, go inside, lift it up so it gets its shape, and then we're going to take it to about 7 to 9 PSA, or PSI. So not a whole lot of air, really, going into this thing. Now, I do have an electric pump handy that I can use to get this thing started, but we're gonna see what it takes with their included hand pump, just for our first time anyway. Now we have to find the Boston valves here. Here they are. If you open it all the way up, that's how you release the air. And it should just poof, get right back down to this shape in just a split second. We open up the outside of it, and this is where we're going to stick the hose, I guess. Ah. Well, there's a reason why it came with some kind of adapter on there. All right, we'll see what it takes to get this thing started. Where's the door? Boom. All right. Now we'll finish it off. All right, and that should be it. Pull the hose out, and we're kind of up and running here. Although I think that's the back. No.
You have to unzip it. Here.
Now these handles here are actually glow in the dark, making it real easy to find your doors. And then we have a little awning or vestibule coming off of this thing. So I'm gonna find the poles and we'll figure that out. It also has a lot of guy wires all the way around.
It has to be tied, these guys, so they are tight around.
Okay. Yeah. So it's also got a lot of guy wires, so we'll get those staked down. We'll see just how, I mean, it's a little, you know, flimsy at the moment, but I think once we have the guy wires in place, that this thing is going to be rock solid. So I'm gonna go around, set most of them up, and then we'll see where we're at. Yeah. All right, we have it all set up here. What a beauty. What an absolute beauty this thing is. And like I said, there are two poles. So you have this vestibule or awning that can come out. You don't need to pull this out. It'll just drop down over the front if you want, you know, if you're just trying to get it set up. I love these line tensioners that they have. They're these little V shapes. If I want to loosen it, I just pull it down. If I want to tighten it, boom, nice and ding. Nice and tight. I love that. So if we're underneath here, now keep in mind, I'm 6'2". So yeah, you know, is my head hitting a little bit? Sure, but who cares? I can be sitting down, I can be working. This is absolutely sweet. Now that it's, you know, it's got a little bit of movement to it, but so does any tent, right? It's not gonna be as sturdy as a brick house. Let's look down here, a couple features I want to look at. We got this little zipper right here. This is great if we want to tuck in a diesel heater hose or run power lines in or out of here. That's really nice. You can see how high the sides come up. So if we were to get rained on or flooded, it's not going to come in. That's super, super nice on there. These seams are really nice. They're all covered. They're covered seams, so it's not going to leak. There is tons of airflow. The whole ceiling is mesh. We got mesh on all four sides, so we got tons of airflow. Back here, we have the closet, so to speak. You know, we can open this up. Let's see here, where's the zipper? So if we, you know, wanted a power station back here, or drop the shoes or backpacks, or just something that we wanted to have near us, but we wanted to have protected in case there was any moisture or rain coming down, you've got this little vestibule area back here. I think that is super cool. Or you can just have the airflow or close this up. The windows are huge. So I think that's fully opened over there. You got tons of airflow coming in. We can roll these up. They've got the little T's on them, so you can snug everything down if you want. Now, pockets, I don't really see any pockets on here for storing stuff. That's a big deal for some people. For us, that's not a big deal. I'm not too concerned about that. I just love how much airflow is in here. Over here, see if I can work my way over here. We mentioned you've got the mesh, you got the door, but if we just wanted to get this big mess out of the way real quick, bunch it all up, and there's a little pocket right there. Keep everything out of the way while you're getting everything set up. Up on top, again, I'm 6'2". I'm not touching, of course, if I go to the side, but that just tells you how high it is. But little hook up here, put your lantern, put something up here. And what's really neat about this, a lot of us have LED lights that need to be plugged into a power station. Well, it's got little hooks so you can run that power cord down the side instead of trying to just having it dangling down in the middle. So you can kind of route that power. That's a super cool feature. So lots of air, lots of circulation, lots of space. And when we go camping, which is only in a couple days, we're taking this and we have some other things that we picked up to make our life more comfortable, but we're gonna save those for another video. But for me and Katerina, I think this is a perfect setup. I can be sitting out here, we're in the shade, we're kind of protected from rain. This is a really nice setup. So, what's it like to tear this thing down? Well, we gotta pull all the guide wires up, and then I'm gonna show you what it takes to tear this thing down. We showed it with that awning all extended, but I did say you don't need to have it out. Well, you can roll it up and tie it off with the little T-bungees up here and keep it out of the way. So if you're just looking to just have the tent, pretty simple solution right here, all built into the tent, which I think is just a great feature.
Or it can be zipped all over.
Right, there, as Katerina just pointed out, you can also zip it all the way down. You just have a lot of options, and that's what we like. It's not, there's only one way to set this up. There's a number of ways to set it up, which I think is super cool. But I'm gonna go ahead and release this so it comes down, which will make it easier for us to put it away. I'll just pop those out. Drop that back to the ground. Now, I'm gonna come over here. You can't see it because it's on the other side, but I'm just gonna come over here. Let me show the valve. So this is the Boston valve over here. I'm just gonna release the large section and we'll see what it's like putting this thing away. Just back up so we can see the whole thing. I think dropping this thing is one of the coolest parts of the whole ordeal. You ready for this? That's it. No poles to put away. Ready for us to fold it up and get it back in the bag somehow. Well, we've got it all folded up. Now I just need to roll it, forcing the air out to the valves. I did open both valves. There's one on the front and the back. Should let the rest of the air out, and then we've got the straps to cinch it down and hopefully get it small enough to get back in the bag. So we're gonna give it a try. I'm not sure how they vacuum pack these things to get them so tight at the factory, but we're gonna give it our best shot. Now I've got the poles, the stakes, and the pump right here that I'm gonna roll right up into the whole thing. Planking, all right.
Maybe it will be better.
What?
If we take pump out.
It says to put it in it. So. And it's definitely a little, the straps are a little tighter than when I started, but hopefully by being able to snug them down here, it'll get more of the air out, and hopefully we can fit it back into its carrying bag. I'm just gonna kind of keep working these. I didn't take a note of how much strap was left when I started. That'd kind of give me an idea of how well I'm doing. Well, I get the bag. And like I mentioned before, it is an oversized bag, so hopefully I'm not gonna have too much trouble getting it back in here, and then we can cinch it down even more. Well, that definitely gives you a whole lot of confidence. Boy, that went in there way better than I had hoped for. Yeah. And then we still have these straps. I'm feeling pretty good about myself right now. I got it back in the bag, even though it's an oversized bag. Plenty of room to spare. Now, this does not, store as small as some other tents, some lighter weight tents and stuff, but this thicker material, I think, is going to give us a couple advantages. One, with the diesel heater, having thicker material, it's going to hold that heat in better when it's really cold out. In the super hot sun during the summer, when it's still 80, 90 degrees at night, we have the air conditioner unit that it's going to help that be more efficient. So having a higher quality tent is definitely going to play to your advantage in a number of different situations. I got these as tight as they can possibly go. It's back in the bag. So this...
How much it weighed?
I don't remember. 22 pounds?
Something like that.
Yeah. Now the weight on this thing, I believe, is around 22 pounds or so. So not super heavy, because there's only the two poles for the awning. So there's not a lot of weight here. I mean, yeah, we do have a pump in there, but it just doesn't add a whole lot of weight to the system. You saw it goes up in just a couple minutes. It comes down in a couple minutes. Pretty fast setup and tear down. Sure, there's those pop-up tents that you can get that are almost instant to set up, but that material is really, really thin. Those are really one-season tents. This is definitely at least a 3-season tent. Maybe not the harshest winters out there, what I want to be in here, but with our heater, maybe so. But we'll give it a try. So sometimes, and we prefer, of course, our rooftop tent. It's got a nice mattress. We've got our kitchen. We have everything with us with our trailer. But for those trips, like we're going to do the Rubicon next year, hopefully, we can't take the trailer. And for the trip we're doing this weekend, we couldn't take the trailer. We need to have a ground tent option. And I think we really found it with the Zempire Pronto 4. Again, not for everybody. This is going to set you back about $500, and you're going to have to ship it from overseas. Australia, New Zealand, places like that. If you can find someone that'll ship it to you. We did, and yeah, it wasn't free shipping. So this did end up costing a little chunk of change, but we think for us, for our needs, our purposes, I think this is going to be a great tent. Gives you some other options out there. There is the Aerospeed 6 that is available at REI. Very similar. It just doesn't really have the awning, and it's a little different with the Windows setup. But check it out. Maybe that's going to be one that you would like. It sets up just as fast. It tears down just as easily. But check that one out at REI. See if that works for you. So I'm packed up. We're ready to go camping. So we're going to see this out on our next camping trip. Thanks for watching, everybody. This has been Carrie and Katarina. Stay safe out there. With a new tent, we'll see you on the trails.